Hello, my name is Ruth Mutson, and I'm a Community Involvement Coordinator for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. I'd like to welcome you to this virtual public meeting about community advisory groups, also known as CAGs. If you've been to other U.S. EPA public meetings, you can see that we have adjusted our format to help ensure public safety during the ongoing COVID-19 health crisis. We hope that you find this presentation helpful and informative. In this presentation, we will discuss what is a Community Advisory Group, or CAG, the steps for forming a CAG, the roles and responsibilities of CAG members, the roles and responsibilities of U.S. EPA, understanding technical assistance, and where to go for technical assistance. A Community Advisory Group, or CAG, is an informal group that serves as a main point for providing information and perspectives to U.S. EPA, Illinois EPA, and other related agencies about community interests and concerns related to the cleanup of a Superfund alternative approach site. The size of a CAG can vary depending on the community, but they typically include representatives that are impacted by or have an interest in the site investigation and cleanup. A diverse CAG allows members of the local community to participate in decisions about site plans and other environmental issues. Although final site decisions are the responsibility of U.S. EPA, the agency may look to the CAG to gain a better understanding of how certain decisions will affect the community, as well as in helping to communicate site information to those who may be impacted. Forming a CAG can be helpful at communities that lack an existing group or with multiple competing groups that have different views. A CAG can also be helpful in a community with environmental justice concerns. The first step in forming a CAG is deciding who the members will be. This involves identifying the groups or viewpoints that need to be represented and who specifically will serve as representatives on the CAG. Once CAG membership is established, the group will need to create and agree on operating procedures and ground rules. Creating rules of conduct will ensure open communication among members and other attendees. Next, the CAG will need to determine leadership within the group. The CAG can select a chair or co-chairs, or the group can decide to form a leadership council consisting of a few members. After the CAG has established membership, operating procedures, and leadership, your group will begin to meet on a regular basis. CAG members determine the schedule and meeting locations that best suit their needs and interests. All general meetings of the CAG are open to the public and are publicized in advance. This ensures that every member of the community has an opportunity to become involved and express an opinion about the project and its elements. Members of the CAG should include residents or homeowners near the site, anyone potentially affected by site releases, local health professionals, environmental or public interest groups, and local business owners. U.S. EPA, Illinois EPA, the City of East St. Louis, and Alcoa cannot join the CAG. However, the CAG may invite representatives from these organizations to share and exchange information about the site and cleanup decisions. I will now turn the presentation over to Dion Novak to talk more about CAG membership.
Hello, I'm Dion Novak, EPA's Remedial Project Manager for the North Alcoa site. There are 4 ways a community can determine who to include in the CAG. The first method is to form a screening panel. EPA can help the community organize a short-term screening panel to review nominations for CAG membership. The screening panel should represent the diversity of the community and should have a leader. Potential nominees should be able to demonstrate the ability to communicate to the entire community. The panel will identify a list of recommended CAG members and submit that list to EPA for review and comment only. EPA cannot approve members. The process should be transparent. The second option is that an existing group in your community might be selected as the CAG if that group represents the diverse interests of the community. If the group does not appear representative, EPA can suggest that the group expand their membership to include additional community interests. Third, EPA, in consultation with local government, could select a core group that represents the diverse interests of the community. The application process for the core group could include self-nominations. The members of the core group would then select the remaining members of the CAG in a fair and open manner. Finally, you, the local community members, can identify CAG members that you believe represent the diverse interests in your community. At our December 2019 meeting, you may recall that we asked for interest in serving on a CAG and subsequently received several volunteers via email correspondence.
A CAG member's main responsibilities are to attend and constructively participate in meetings. As a CAG member, you are a representative of your group or community interests. Another responsibility is for the group members to take the information received in a CAG meeting and share it with the broader community. Patience is important when forming and being involved with a CAG. Changes will not happen overnight, but with continued involvement, CAGs can find success. Once the CAG is up and running, members may decide to form small work groups to address particular site issues more closely. US EPA will attend CAG meetings, provide site updates and information, and listen and respond to community concerns identified by members related to the North Alcoa site. The agency may also provide training for the CAG, depending on the group's needs. US EPA will also continue regular communication practices to keep the community informed about plans and decisions throughout the cleanup process.
In some circumstances, a community may need additional support to understand technical information relating to the site and to the cleanup. In these cases, EPA can help facilitate technical assistance to make sure the community has the help it needs to fully understand local environmental issues and participate in decision-making at the site. This is known as a Technical Assistance Plan, or a TAP. A TAP provides a CAG with opportunities to receive services from an independent technical advisor who can help community members better understand the cleanup process at a site by interpreting technical documents and providing insight. This service can better enable group members to share the information with other community members. Technical assistance can include the following. 1. Access to a technical advisor who can read or review, summarize, and clearly explain scientific reports, terms, or studies related to the site. 2. Training on various topics, including technical and scientific concepts, environmental programs, policy and regulations, and environmental issues impacting your community. 3. Facilitation support so that any controversies between CAG or community members can be avoided or resolved. 4. Dispute resolution services to help resolve conflicts among CAG or community members or between EPA and community to ensure all interests are identified and addressed through discussion and mediation among conflicting parties. 5. Other types of support that can help with the operation of a CAG. TAP assistance cannot be used for developing new information such as testing or monitoring, or for reopening or challenging final EPA decisions. It can also not be used for political activities or lobbying, or activities related to lawsuits or other legal issues, including legal fees. TAP assistance is not for the use of group members for travel or independent training or tuition expenses, or group parties or celebrations. EPA had created previously an informational fact sheet which explains technical assistance plans in further detail. This fact sheet can be found online on EPA's North Alcoa webpage.
To review, a CAG is a mechanism that can help your community work with US EPA in making site-related decisions. The CAG should represent the diversity of your community and the various concerns and viewpoints. Also, US EPA can help your community form a CAG and help your group access resources for day-to-day operations. We understand that you may have additional questions about community advisory groups or technical assistance plans. We invite you to join US EPA representatives during an open question and answer session on March 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. A link to the virtual meeting will be posted on www.epa.gov/SUPERTIES. Representatives from Illinois EPA and North Alcoa will also be available. Please contact US EPA if you require special accommodations. Thank you for watching this presentation. If you have any additional questions about CAGs, please contact me at muhtsun.ruth@epa.gov or at 312-886-6595. If you have any technical questions about the North Alcoa site, please contact Dion Novak at novak. www.dion@epa.gov or at 312-886-4737.
Representatives from Illinois EPA are also available tonight to discuss your questions and concerns. Thank you for your time and have a great evening.